Do not complain when other people do not buy a $200 shoe and they invest it instead and they start buying your lands, buying your apartments, buying your buildings. Do not complain when the Koreans and the Chinese come and buy your property, because I bet you will not find one Korean, not one Chinese on that line buying a $200 worth of shoe. People, we have a situation here in America, in the state of Georgia. That is the state where Atlanta is, where they have lifted the curfew or the lockdown. Now there is a release of a new shoe called the Jordan 5 Red. It is one of Michael Jordan's shoe lines, and that shoe costs US $200. And just look and check at how black people are showing that they are the best and greatest customers in the whole world, and how they have come out in large numbers to buy that shoe. Now, mind you, people are still dying in America, but you can see clearly that the people are not practicing the social distance protocol on these lines. Just check it, the vibes well. Just check it out. Millions of people are losing their jobs, and more jobs may be lost. But the best idea, the greatest idea that the people have is not to buy food. It is not to save their money. It is not to buy something to sell to make a profit, but to buy a shoe for $200 at a time when there is a global pandemic and there is a world recession. There are people who make thousands of dollars a month, but you will not catch them on that line buying a $200 shoe in an economic crisis and depression and in a pandemic. Some will argue that people have a right to spend their money how they please, and that is okay. But do not get jealous. Do not complain when other people do not buy a $200 shoe and they invest it instead and they start buying your lands, buying your apartments, buying your buildings. Do not complain when the Koreans and the Chinese come and buy your property, because I bet you will not find one Korean, not one Chinese on that line buying a $200 worth of shoe. It is okay, you say. It is okay. You will say that people have a choice to spend their money as they wish. That is okay. But do not get jealous of people when you see they invest the money that you waste and start making returns. I saw a documentary one time about Memphis, Tennessee. It's a place where they say there is a strong population, a large population of black people. And the documentary was basically showing that all the supermarket chains are away from the Memphis area where black people live. And they're saying because of that, some black people were saying that their nutrition is very poor because all the supermarkets have pulled out of the communities. But then you have, with all of that, you have an opportunity for black people to plant things, vegetables and stuff like that, and sell it to the people in your community. But maybe the mindset is to buy expensive shoes instead. Black people need to spend their money, people. We need to spend our money wisely as black people. We cannot afford to spend our money on things that have no value and complain about white supremacy, complain about Chinese, complain about Taiwanese, when we are the ones who waste our money on things that do not appreciate in value. Black people worldwide, we cannot afford to spend all our money on vehicles and clothes and complain about not having land and housing and things like that. You cannot have the wrong priority, and when it is convenient to us for us to start advocating for the most important things, whereas we squander our resources on useless ventures and useless products. You see, this is it, my people. That is it. With all of these black people dying in America, people actually go out, forget about safety protocol like social distancing just to buy a $200 shoe. This opened my eyes to a significant extent why we black people are at the bottom of the ladder. You see, if somebody can actually, in a depression, in an economic depression, in a pandemic, you go out and spend $200 on a pair of shoes where millions of people are losing their jobs, that tells me a lot about the psyche of a lot of black people. This really helps me to understand why everywhere you go in the world, black people are at the bottom of the social economic ladder. This makes me understand why in the Caribbean, Africa, and other places, the Chinese come and buy everything, and you from the place you can't buy nothing. It is because of that kind of mentality that even under the most dire situation, in the most dangerous situation where you have a pandemic and where you have a global economic crisis, you will put yourself in danger, not knowing sometimes how the economy will be, just to buy a $200 pair of shoe. Now, how many Chinese would do that? How many Koreans would do that? How many of the people that you consider to be white supremacists would do that? We have to check ourselves. There is a reason why we are at the bottom of the socio-economic ladder.